Welcome, Curling Champions Tour live production. I'm Mark to this Skins game. Next to me is Dan Reifel. Dan, how are you today?
I'm good. Finally finished coaching. My team's been eliminated, so I get to do a little bit of commentary now.
Well, it's a pleasant work as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So we see here, well, actually, this is the other rink showing now Oatsville, but here we see this Skins game of the Swiss team Tirinzoni against the Swiss team Feltscher. So we will see a complete different game than we used to see, and maybe this is why I'm very pleased to have Dan with you, because he's a real expert in not only curling, skins curling as well.
Well, basically, what you're going to see here is instead of one 8 end game, you're going to see 8 small games,
Six,
six
yeah, yeah.
six ends. It's better if I get informed first. But basically, every end is a separate game. You're not trying to score as many points as you can. Basically, if you have the hammer, you are trying to get 2 points, and the other team obviously is trying to steal. And that will give you the skin for the end. And every end is worth a different amount of money, which we can provide you with the information.
So in the first end, there's a skin amount of 100 francs. Then we get 200 francs on the second. On the third, 300. On the fourth, 400. 500 and 600. This is total amount of 2,100. But the interesting thing is it may happen that we have kind of jackpot in a way that if no team is taking the skin, then we have in the last end a kind of jackpot of 2,100.
Hmm. So basically, what you have is if the team with the hammer only scores 1 point, then there are carryovers, and sometimes you can see 3, 4, even 5 ends of carryover, which increases the pot and basically determines the game. So this is what makes the skins game a lot more interesting, is the fact that every end the amount of money increases. So you're not basically playing, win 2 or 3 ends and the game is over. You can win sometimes, I think, just the last 2 ends, and it should pretty well do it for you.
You would get 1100.
Yeah.
Another important thing at the skins game is about the hammer. So here, in every end, the hammer goes to the other team,
Hmm.
which is very important. In other words, in these 6 ends, each team will have 3 times the hammer.
Yeah.
Now, just in the first end, the hammer goes to Binya Feltscher, because we just saw that Team Tirinzoni begin with the red rocks.
Hmm. So we will see alternating hammers, and you're going to see a completely different style here because, as we mentioned earlier, you're basically only trying to score 2 points, or the other team is only trying to steal one. So the fact that one team will score maybe 5 or 6 is totally irrelevant. The important thing is to score 2 with the hammer to win the skin for that end. And having the hammer alternating every end will give each team a chance to have the hammer, as you said, 3 times, so half the game. So now already we've seen here a lot of stones in play. Normally you will not see a lot of takeouts until probably the very end of the end. It's all about rock positioning, trying to get the stones in a good spot so they can be used later. So here we have a couple of red guards in the control zone, and a little bit of rocks building up behind the tee line. And the two red guards that you see on the center line are actually staggered. So this is probably not a good thing for yellow stones, because they won't be able to run them back at all. So if the hit and roll that is called here is made, we should see yellow stones in good shape. But we have a nose hit. So Silvana's gonna, at some point, gonna have to try and figure, if she can't get a stone in behind, she's gonna have to try and move those two red guards around a little bit. Another hit and roll called here. Of course, the ice has been pretty good here this week again, as usual. Oh, a little bit of an over curl there. So the objective stone was removed, but rolled a little too far. So right now, yellow's counting 2, but they're both behind the tee line.
But let's say seeing this situation means now that Team Feltscher would get now this 100 franc jackpot,
Yes.
because they need to have 2 yellow rocks in the better place than the red ones. Huh?
So what she'll try to do now is try to make sure that red stones don't put one in behind the guard. If she can get this one where she wants it now, it's going to be very difficult for red stones to count. Looks a little fast. So this one will probably end up behind the tee line also.
They said in the beginning it was too fast, and 370 sliding.
So whoever's going to get one in there first, even if there's half a stone showing, it's going to be a little bit difficult, because there's a nice wall being built on the left-hand side as we face the house. And that for sure is going to set up some type of a jam.
Still,
And this one
heavy
looks
weight.
a little fast also.
But they had to do it that just you can pass the red rocks on the top on the guard, right?
Yeah.
So this is already the 3rd or 4th rock trying now to get into the center.
So now Bina is going to try and put one actually in the top 8 foot in the white to cut off the circle, and that way probably will make her 2 rocks in the back count. So hopefully the players will have communicated the speed to each other at this point, because there's been 3 or 4 stones that have been quite fast.
Well, she had
So this,
almost screamed that they don't broom, right?
That's right. But at this point, I think that was a little bit deeper than they wanted. But even if the Redstones were to make an attempt at the takeout, they would actually roll away from the 4 foot, which is not what they would want to do at this point.
Now I see an interesting thing is that Silvana Tirinzoni is not going on the shot. She's going on the second shot there, because she tries that they only would ride 1
Exactly.
rock.
So they will try maybe to force now Yellowstones to only take 1 and force a carryover of the skin. So as you can see already, it's a totally different tactic of what you would see in normal curling.
Heavy broom, heavy sweeping.
Just touching the front guard.
Yeah, still, but the
The
weight.
speed would have been a little
yeah.
slow anyway. That's probably why it curled a lot. So it looks like that side is pretty well blocked off. They're gonna have to guard this one just so they can't push it in. Yeah, I think she's gonna try and throw a guard over onto the other side to block off any attempt at Redstones to get at the forefoot. The only shot that she would have, Silvana would have, would be the raise on the stone that she just threw, because the two red stones on the center line are staggered and they can't be pushed straight
That's why
back.
now Team Feltscher tries to guard this, actually,
That's correct.
the red.
That's what
rock.
she indicated.
Ist drei. Warte, was? Vorne nach.
Warte, es geht.
Vorne nach.
Tia! Ja! Ja! Ho! Links! Nog links! Nog links, nog links!
Okay. Ist gut so.
Well, they might have gotten the desired result anyway, but not really the way they wanted to do it. The rock was a little fast, so it probably didn't curl as much as they wanted to. So they tried to push the yellow guard up out in front of it. The only problem is now is it looks like maybe they might have lined them up.
I think so, because the line would be nice that the red just would ahead about 1 meter, just
Yeah.
to be second. But I think then Binya still would have the possibility maybe to come up from the other side.
Mm-hmm. Well, it'll all depend on how much she pushes this stone, because it is actually lined up to go away from the forefoot, but all she would need is full 8 foot to cut it down.
Länge ist gut. Achtung, Tia. Ho, ho.
Weg, schnell!
Da, ho.
Nein, 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 nein.
Wie lang ist er? Mr. Clean. Kann man nicht.
Oh, she was actually
She tries go through.
playing the draw through the hole, and that didn't work out, so
Ja, aber es sind ja drei.
So they
Two-
would not have to play anymore because Team Feltscher is getting the first. So the
the first skin,
first kick goes now to Binya Feltscher.
mm-hmm. Well played in. Few too many stones behind the tee line, but I'm sure they'll adjust to the speed of the ice. And
Now what we do is, because it's Skinsgame, we have now a game presentation of the teams. First there's Team Tirinzoni, who will present themselves through a kind of great couch interview we did yesterday.
It's Esther Neuenschwander. She's very stubborn.
Always too late.
Very annoying.
Negative thinking.
She hates to stand up early
Always late.
and never smile.
Hi, my name is Silvana Tirinzoni and we call out
most of the time, in the past, the guard was going up right away, and we realized that probably wasn't a good idea. So now a lot of teams are just throwing the rock into the house just to get a good position and to see what the other team will try and do with it. So here the freeze has been called. You wouldn't want to tap this rock too far back. The line looks good. Just a little bit heavy, a little bit too much speed there, and bumped it a little bit on an angle. So now we're going to see a few rocks in play in the house without any guards.
Milan beschouwen! Oh! Enge Nacht!
So then I think after this game you know very well Swiss German, right? Curle, curle. It's like English, you know, curl, curle.
Okay.
So it seems like they're having a little bit of problems with the speed again this end. Every rock seems to be just a little bit fast. As long as the rocks are in play, they can be used. This is the thing about Skinsgame. You know, you can have long guards, medium guards, short guards, rocks behind the tee line. Anything can be used to score 2 points by the team with the hammer.
Well, then we're looking now if everybody understood our explanation about the skins game. Please feel free to send us the questions. We are more than happy to, let's say, to explain maybe more in details. Not so easy, let's say, to understand because it's really a special thing. Then I think this is all from Canada. I mean, the games, the original.
Yeah, well, I'm not really sure exactly where it came from, but I think it was a concept that was brought up more for entertainment purposes, especially for television. You know, you were guaranteed, you know, entertainment throughout the telecast, as opposed to having a telecast that is possibly over after 5 ends. So it's a good concept. I actually use this concept a lot with my teams in training, only because sometimes they want to play a game that is more offensive, and you know, there's nothing worse than inviting a team in to play a game, a friendly match at training, and after half an hour or after 45 minutes, the game's pretty well out of reach.
Yeah.
So they don't really know what to do after that except just clear the scoreboard and start over. So we use this format a lot, only because, as I explained earlier, it's 8 small games, or in this case 6 small games. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer than a normal game, only because there's a lot of discussion, a lot of rocks in play. So yeah, it will take a little bit more time, but with the use of a time clock in a regular skins game, you know, you can usually keep it under control.
Maar er is langer, Manu.
Lang is goed.
It looks a little bit heavy. All the rocks are a little bit over tee, huh?
That's right. They're all still a little bit fast. Here, we're actually seeing an end where there's not a guard in sight, and
they're all rocks so
all
far.
rocks are
Yeah.
behind the tee line. So we're seeing a little bit a kind of a freeze game, like who's going to make the perfect freeze, who's going to put the stone in the perfect spot. So even if there is a takeout thrown, you know, the rock will probably not be removed from play. So here we see a really nice pocket set up for Binia. Now she can wedge one in between the two red stones, it'll be really difficult to remove. So all they're going to do at that point is just freeze until whoever gets to the button first.
Did you see how much curl Franziska just gave to this rock? I think it turns about 4 or 5 times now.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So there we go. It'll probably take a couple of stones to move this one a little bit.
Okay.
Looks to me like Silvana's actually asking for some kind of a control type weight
yeah,
hit.
heck weight
Yeah,
take out, yeah.
just to hit that on the nose and stay in the front. Get rid of some of the backing. A little bit of determination in those eyes. Good concentration, nice throw. You can see the result. Just over curled a little bit, but I think the main objective for
Yeah,
for Silvana was to actually move the red stone that was behind the yellow one. Who's counting at this point is not really that important, but we had to have that yellow stone move some of the backing for the next shot.
actually the skip said just before that probably the ice was not correct. I think the
Okay, which is a good call because sometimes, you know, the player will start to doubt if they probably had a bad release or a bad slide, but you know, it's always good to hear from the skip if you threw it well and it was the onus was on the skip to not have given the right ice. Shows some good team dynamics.
yeah, definitely.
Finally, we get to see one that's a little bit short.
Yeah, it's the first one. Well, it's a bit too short. They were expecting longer, but I think Binja is still happy. She said she can live with it, you know.
Mm. So immediately we see Silvana asking her vice to use that guard and come around it. Good looking throw. So just gonna try and pull this one in behind the guard a little bit. Speed is great. Good looking throw.
First one before tea, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So again, always about rock positions. So it's who's going to put the stone in the right spot so it can't be removed or force a jam onto the back stones. No tendency here for most inexperienced teams would be to go straight to the freeze into the back stones. But as we know, a freeze on top of a freeze is not an ideal situation. So they don't want this one going behind the tee line. Unfortunately, that's where it's gone.
Yeah. Be nice. It's maybe a bit, as I said, a bit just on tee or just before tee would be
That's
nice.
right. She had originally called that stone to be in the top 4 foot. Or for those who are sweepers, a 6, 7 being the tee line. So she wanted that just in front of the button, maybe 1/3 biting the center line. Now they're just trying to determine whether the timing is right to actually throw the takeout and get rid of some of this stuff.
Yeah, I think so too. They will try to. Well, actually, it's the red one. Huh? So what they will try is to hit probably on that side around.
It looks like they're calling some kind of a takeout here. Like the yellow rock in the back is not fully exposed, so they might actually even be using the red stone that's on the right. So Manuela here throwing the hit.
Yep.
Might be outside a little bit. It's going to have to come up. There we go.
Yeah. Situation looks comfortable now. Huh?
Mhm.
Oh,
The problem Bina is running into now is the fact that the back of the button is exposed, so even if she puts a stone there, it can be pushed through. So
I think
she may have to throw a takeout herself.
something like that. Her rock goes here inside, right?
You know, she could even probably make the double here, which is not totally important, but
Okay.
Noch ein bisschen weniger.
Achtung!
Oh, ho!
Looks a bit outside. Huh?
Ho!
so Bina throwing some pretty good weight here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it looked like the way they were calling it that she had been thrown outside a little bit and probably was going to get a nose hit, but turned out to be a pretty good shot. If we look at it from the front, it's actually covered by that Yellowstone that came up short earlier.
Yep.
So it would almost have to be like a double raise takeout.
Yep.
Having coached a few teams now with China and Italy and now Czech Republic, I've run into Bina a few times, and in my book, she's probably one of the more underrated. You know, you look at her and you look at her team and you say, well, okay, shouldn't be so tough, but she can make a lot of shots, as she's proven again this week. We played her in the first game, and she made shots just like that.
Yeah.
So now everything is pretty well open. The redstone has stayed outside, having hit the yellow guard. A little bit of a discussion here as to what stone should have gone out.
Yeah, they touched one, so
Yeah.
Minia just said she could not see or remember because it was quite fast. But anyway, these rocks would be behind the team, so they have not importance, right?
Beanie is looking at throwing an out turn here, but wouldn't be at all opposed to looking at the intern side, but
She would try to do a draw, you know.
she feels pretty confident about this one.
T-line.
Okay.
So she's going to throw an out-turn T-line draw. Hopefully, she's going to find the draw weight that the other players couldn't find.
Yeah, definitely.
15, noch nicht.
Probably discussing the speed now with her sweepers. So lots of line there. It's all about weight at this point.
Carla!
Well, not terrible. Not exactly what she wanted, but I think she wanted that rock up a little bit higher.
I think you see about a third of the rock on that side, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think with these eyes who curls that much, it would be possible to see from, to take from the outside. What do you think?
Silvano's just looking here to see who's actually force shot. Because if she does pick it out and only takes one, then the skin will carry over. So she's going to have to try and keep the shooter here. They seem to think that the Yellowstone over on the left-hand side, as we see it now, is a force shot. So they can't afford to roll away, or else the skin will carry over. Actually, she just needs to tap it out of the forefoot and stay on the tee line. She'll get her two. Sweeping it for line here, I think.
They say it's too short.
Yep! Yep! Fast! Yep! Vito!
I think they called that one perfectly. Very nice.
Perfect, yeah.
Perfect stone.
So, we got the equal.
So, skin for the second end. Going to Silvana Tirinzoni.
So in other words, she got 200 francs.
That's right.
Where Binja Feltscher get 100 francs. So we begin again from zero with a 300 jackpot in the third end.
So are they paying this off in Swiss francs, or are they paying this off in Swiss chocolate?
Well, you know, they can have chocolate for free.
Yeah,
in Switzerland.
exactly.
So in any other country you can ask this question, but Switzerland is
not in Switzerland.
full of chocolate.
All right, now we're going to head into the third end.
Well, now we will bring the other video, the presentation of the team Feltscher. Very funny video, I can already tell you. Just enjoy.
Hi, we are the team Flims, and we would like to present each other. And so I will start. My name is Christine Urech. Now we play the third season together, and we have a lot of fun. My hobbies are curling, of course, skiing, some other sports, and I'm very interesting about graphic design and product design. So now the next one.
Hi, my name's Franziska Kaufmann. I'm the second, and I like to spend my time outside, like hiking in the mountains, skiing, and curling, of course.
Hi, I'm Irene Shori. I'm the third of this team, and my hobbies are water ski and curling, of course.
And hi, Now comes Binia. Binia speaks good English. I'm the skip from the team. And my hobbies, I have 2 children. That's my big hobby. No, I go skiing and hiking. And now Irene speaks from the Victory, it's right. And later these 3 girls make a special with a Spurenbübli.
Our goals are, we're just looking for one game to the next one, and we always give our best, and then we will see how is the end of this. So a Spurenbübli. And so we will sing and she make all the rest. Spurenbübli man I niden, sett meg mer våra. Jo, Spurenbübli man I niden, sett meg mer våra. Mau oppe, mau apre, mau links, mau rett, mau føre, mau hindre, mau links, mau rett. Mau oppe, mau links, mau rett, mau føre, mau hindre, mau links, mau rett.
Well, then I think seeing that video, I think we have to learn how to play this song, right? The Spurenbübli.
I'd be at a loss for that one.
It is all the time nice to see how they enjoy the.
Well, of course, these teams are happy because they've actually qualified through to the playoffs.
Yep.
So now we're actually seeing
the free guard. Is it still in the Skinsgame? Is the free guard zone too?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is good.
I think the call was the run back, but they actually hit it on the wrong side. Actually, looking at that last video, it looked like really bad imitation of a Swiss bobsled team.
In what sense?
Just rattling around, jumping up and down.
Well, we have this was a real traditional song.
Okay.
We used to sing once being children or with the children, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as a presentation, it's very nice to see how I think it's a kind of teamwork. You know, they really
That's right.
have a strong commitment together
Yeah.
to do something, and this is what I think is very nice to see. Well, some pressure now.
Silvana is looking really good this end. So now the hard part is going to be duplicating the shot that was made before, but now making it legally. Of course, the previous stone was free guard zone infraction, so the guards were replaced. And now we have the run back.
Nice.
So at least one of the 2 stones that were in the 4-foot was removed, but the 2 guards are still out in front.
You can watch the game on our website at curlingchampionstour.org as well. There you have the standing is 1-1, let's say, after the Skinsgame. That you can see the standings as well and our game. And then so far we didn't get any question about the Skinsgame. It seems you explained very well. So no questions, so great to know that, huh?
It's actually quite interesting. It's an entertaining form of curling. You know, sometimes we always say that maybe curling's a little bit boring because it's always predictable. We know people that do know how the game is played pretty well know what's going to come next. It's just a matter of execution. But in skins, it's a little bit different because you don't know what's going to come next. Only because you're not trying to score as many points as you can. Again, as we explained, it's 2 with the hammer, and the other team is trying to steal 1 only. So we've probably seen more takeouts this end than we saw in the previous 2. And of course the points are 1 skin apiece, but as we explained earlier, first end was worth 100 Swiss francs and second end was worth 2. So
you would say that Team Vinia Feltscher needs the 300 francs?
Well, it's either that or they can, some teams actually like to build up carryovers.
I thought that she needs that to repair her trousers, right?
I was looking at the video and the comment I made was she needs to win some of this money so she can get new jeans, but...
Then this is new fashion, right?
Exactly.
They even buy like that, the jeans, right?
Well, that's the funny part nowadays is like, what we used to throw away 30 years ago, now they pay twice and 3 times the price for it. So maybe I should go back in my wardrobe and see what I can find in there.
They used to wash the jeans with stones. You remember the ad they had once?
So as I was saying earlier, it depends on the confidence of the teams, really. But some teams actually like to build up carryovers and put a lot of pressure on one end to be worth a lot of money. Sometimes it's not meant to be that way. It just works out that way. But I don't know if I'd be the one wanting to throw the last stone if the whole game is on the line and all the money. Rock curling here a little bit more than they want to, and just touching the front stone. Little bit of disappointment there. She thought she had a good one. So again, with the format of the skins, you can win as many as you want in the beginning, but the ones you want to get are the final skins, the ones at the end. Now they're just trying to replace the guards. So it's a little bit different end than it was previously. Only 2 rocks in the house this time, and guards are being put out front. A little bit of a hole there, but...
That is what she tries now.
Yeah.
I just don't know if the way with a heavy weight that rock would go too much on the right side.
Exactly. Well, the thing is, the ice here curls pretty good. So, just a little bit of a curl away from where they want to be, and for sure, with the weight they're throwing, it's going to probably roll out. You can see them using the back of the hack for leverage and really pushing out with a lot of speed, but just a little bit wider than she wanted to be.
What?
Usually one of the mistakes that a curler will make technically is when they are throwing a lot of weight like that, they tend to be a little bit wider than inside.
Well, at the end, I think Binia Feltscher will try to just put one out of those two. I mean, it's difficult for maybe Silvana to guard both rocks. So this depends now where the guard will be placed.
And in the background, as you know, there are final road C games going on. So those of you familiar with women's curling, you probably heard Andrea Schopp in the background. Very recognizable voice. I think at some point we're going to go over and see some of those scores, if we can.
Just.
So she got her guard.
But I think if it is ice curling that much, you know.
Exactly. As I was saying earlier, that the ice here curls sufficiently that that guard is pretty well useless. Can actually probably get by this guard and get an inside roll.
Yeah, because she needs just. Oh no, but she takes a quite. I think it will be a back weight takeout, huh? I was more thinking that she put a kind of freeze or a draw, but she.
Das Loch können wir, glaube ich, nicht mehr.
Nein, ich glaube auch nicht.
Durch das Loch können wir nicht mehr.
Nein, noch so.
Nein.
Wow.
Ja, den können wir noch im letzten Mal.
Curls, but
Genau.
no, I don't think curls that
Nein,
much.
den machen wir nicht.
She's better off just getting by here. She can actually probably get to a spot here where she can make the double. It won't be a full weight double, but the guard being as long as it is. So normally when you hear the line being called like that, it means they're actually pretty close. Oh, she got one. Not exactly what she wanted to do. Silvana double checking that there's no hole there on the center line. Judging from the distance between the yellow and the red guard, I think any stone passing through there would probably have to go on a diet on the way down.
Well, now I think she looks comfortable. I mean, she just brings now one rock into the 8 foot or whatever, you know. She's fine, you know. I don't know how Binia will have the possibility to take them out, you know.
Well, I think the only thing Binia will have after this is probably attempting the second shot that she was looking at, which was the outturn draw on the other side. We'll see how Silvana does with this stone, having come up quite a bit short on her last one.
Lang ist gut, Boy. Richtig ist gut, ja.
There was less curl now, huh? She gave.
Achtung. Ja. Aber nicht zum Aufmachen. Ja. Wo ist er?
So we're really going to have to drag this one.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, the only thing that rock is guarding is the hole that she was looking at before. So, as you saw, the curl on this stone, I think it would probably be possible with the T-line weight to just get to the top of that red stone that's on the button. It's going to take a bit of precision, but
I think it's possible, yeah.
sure. And this ends being worth 300.
Yeah, but
Ein
she
bisschen weniger.
only can do now a kind of blank, right? At least trying to avoid to give the 300 to Team Tirinzoni. She needs to buy the jeans, not their team, right?
So the final stone for Binia. Looks a little bit concerned, but I think the weight looks good. Oh, always.
Fest! Tia!
Oh, and a fine attempt. Oh, I don't think you could come closer than that and not make the shot. So steal of one.
Steal of one.
Ja. Bisschen weg hören, ganz lang. Schön. Gute Länge gewesen, ja.
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 Jetzt haben wir wieder den letzten. Nein, jetzt haben wir nicht den letzten.
So steal of one means now the jackpot is 500 francs for Team Tirinzoni, 100 francs for Team Feltscher, and the hammer goes to Tirinzoni. Yeah? So all the advantage is now on her, on the Team Tirinzoni. So Team Feltscher would like to try now to do a blank or something like that, you know.
Ja.
Maybe we can switch the scoreboard because there are 4 other games running at the same time, all in the Group C. I mean, they still have the possibility to qualify for the quarterfinal tomorrow. As you said, we have heard some voices on the other rings, so I think there is games as well. There we go. On the sheet number 1, we have the 2 Scottish teams playing against Rivers 3-0. So as we said, they have to play now, and then have another game tonight at 8 p.m. to qualify. Then here we have the young Swiss team Hegner from Uzwil, Switzerland, against the experienced Hungarian team of Skinsgame, which is tied 2-2 after 3 ends. Then we have here our game. So we move to sheet number 4. Very interesting here is the game of the young Swiss team Grebe against McManus from Sweden, 1-0. As we said here too, the winner will play at 8 p.m. tonight. And we move to sheet number 5. That is where you have heard the voice of Andrea Schöpp against the young team, again from Switzerland, Team Maillard, 3-1. So, as we said, this is all Group C. The winner will play again at 8 p.m. And there are 3 more places for the quarterfinal on Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Back to our game. Then what is next now of Team Feltscher?
So in the other games that we just described, a lot of these teams having gone through a little bit of a curling marathon. I know the Czech team itself had a very strong possibility of playing 4 games yesterday and 4 games today, but unfortunately we are eliminated. I think the girls are quite happy with the way they played. Always want to have a better result, but they came down to play some games. Their Czech challenge is next week. They will play a best of 5 at the Prague Curling Hall to determine who will represent Czech Republic in December at the Olympic qualifying event, the first time they have this event. So it'll be between Team Kubeshkova and Team Klimova.
I have the impression it gets warm in the curling hall. Now you see everybody in short sleeves.
A little bit of a temperature difference here at the Basel curling rink. For those of you who have never been here, there are 5 sheets upstairs, what we call the upstairs, and 3 down below. And let me tell you, the 3 down below can be quite cold sometimes. I was out there today coaching, and I actually made it to the 4th end before I had to go inside. So, but as you said, upstairs, especially when the 5 sheets are going and there's games on all the sheets and the players are playing hard, it can get a little bit warm. So again, we're getting an end where guards are actually coming into play, which we didn't see earlier.
Well, they say that it gets a bit some rough, I mean, on the ice.
It's getting a little bit slower.
Yep. It's interesting sometimes to hear what they are discussing now.
Well, the situation you get into sometimes is you get, as we call, a little bit blind to the rest of the stones that are in play, and you have a tendency to play too much come around, not knowing what can be run back and what can be promoted. So they're a little bit worried that, you know, even if they do make a come around, that the stones that are out front at the moment can be used later.
Yeah, the hammer is on Tirinzoni, so it's obvious she would like to have an open house here.
Mm-hmm. See, the problem is, you know, a lot of teams are used to playing for 2, but as we would call it, the conventional way. And with skins, it's just totally different mentality, and you can't play it the same way. They're looking at here possibly doubling out the 2 yellow guards and staying out in front.
Genug siehst. Ich sehe ihn fast ganz. So viel ist nicht. Ich schaue nochmal, aber... Der letzte Sonntag sehe ich nicht. Geht er aber? Das Thema jetzt dann. Sonst liegen immer noch 2 Gabel.
So now what Esther is trying is just to prolong her own red rock, huh?
Good shot. That's pretty well what they wanted to do. And of course now the 2 guards are staggered. So it looks like one side of the sheet is going to be played on, the other side will be open. The way the end is developing, it's starting to look more and more like a carryover, but we'll have to wait and see. We're only on second stones. Not sure what to get out of that expression, but
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, the weight was correct, but in any way that the curl didn't come in. So she said more or less, it's really well done, but we didn't get the direction of the.
not sure if they could have taken less ice, but there were a couple of sheets the last couple of days where if you did get out a little bit further, it wouldn't come in. So she might have got caught into that path.
Squat die T-line. Linie squat. Ziellinie. Aknoos. Linie. Fest. Ja, Mühen. Fest. Wow, wow. 7, 8. Dran bleiben. Ziehen. Fest. 7. Fest, Mühen. Fest. Ziehen.
We're really working on this one. I think the line is perfect. That's a great shot.
Yep.
And I think Vinia's going to start getting a little concerned here.
Gleich wel eens uitproberen. Oder lieber da.
Yeah, she's going to have to start looking at probably getting in on the intern side because, you know, even if she sets something up on the outturn side, it may not do any good because of the redstone that's in the back being second shot.
Yeah, but this makes sense. I mean, it's like a preparation rock. Now she puts something, can be second or whatever, you know.
So now at least she can use those stones that are in the back of the tee line for possible jam. Looks a little bit slow. Yeah, that's why it curls so much.
Yeah, it could have been a bit longer, and it would be nicer to, let's say, to work on it. But now it's a bit freeze
Actually,
now to the other one.
it's actually in a pretty bad spot now because there's not much they can do with it. You know, there's a lot of overlap there with all the guards and the stones out front.
Aber nur ganz Fuß, oder? Wirst du weiter?
Die Frage ist einfach, wo sie ankommt, wenn sie da nachher spielt.
Ich glaube, da kommt einfach, der geht einfach dann am Centerline gehen und dann so oben durch.
Okay.
8 Fuß? Ja, nur ganz 8 Fuß. Haben wir angeschaut, was passiert, wenn sie vorne auf die rote geht?
So whoever can get one in behind that pile of staggered guards first will be in pretty good shape. Looks like they might have overswept this one.
Definitely.
No, still in front of the tee line. Just didn't come up as much as they wanted to, but it's in a good spot.
Ja. Second. No freeze.
So again, now the tactics will be to more or less limit the damage, which means force a carryover rather than try to steal. It's a little bit of an advantage that you have when you're playing skins is, you know, forcing a carryover is not that terrible. This one looks a little bit fast. It might rub and roll into the open.
Point is just ahead to sweep because that he passes on the top. And, yeah, it's quite open now there.
So now, if they can almost nose that, get a almost like a half rock roll inside, I think it's going to be really difficult for Binia to do anything.
But interesting now, Silvana said she just wants a freeze. She doesn't want to tap back.
Okay.
I think it's again based on the Skins game that she just want to put one there because she claims that it's too dangerous to.
Well, the important thing I think is to make sure you cross the nose of the stone.
Yep.
Make sure you get inside of it. You don't want to line up anything on the outside and give Binia an easy shot. She's better off being short and leaving a guard. That is not curling at all. Mm.
But I'm surprised because the weight was on a T-line that the curl is not enough. I mean,
well,
I think
sometimes it's just different releases.
Yeah.
You know, you'll get a different result on the same line. So now, decision. You try and go for the steal here, or I don't think there's any possibility for it. So I think they're probably just going to guard this and make sure that there is a carryover.
Definitely, yeah.
And a carryover at this point would mean probably 4 and 5, putting it at 900 Swiss francs.
Darum habe ich das Gefühl, die sind zu, dass ihr nur einen könnt. Das ist nicht gleich, das stimmt.
Als Second ist schon mal gut.
Yeah.
Der Ebig streift, liegt der vielleicht noch ein bisschen besser in der Linie, oder?
So this end being worth 400, if they carry over, the following end would be 900.
In terms of Swiss chocolate. 900 kilo of Swiss chocolate.
And of course we know if Silvana Tirinzoni picks up that 900, the game will pretty well be over.
12-8.
Okay.
But of course at this point it's just about, it's not about the win or the loss, it's winning the most money you can.
Ein bisschen weniger.
So I think Binia here just throwing up the guard. Oh, not a guard. That looks more than T-line.
Oh, whoa, whoa.
So I think she just returned the favor from Manuela Sigris, who had pushed the Yellowstone in.
Well,
and Binia returned the favor, and I don't, they're looking here at possibly a hit and roll, which is far too flat. So they would have to, they would just have to guard this, I think.
And how about to put the right one just here?
Well, the problem is they tried to play that earlier and they kind of got burnt on it. I don't really think there's any need for it. Because even if you put the stone there where you indicated, all Binia would have to do is hit what she could see of the Yellowstone and be at least second shot.
Yeah.
So I think she just needs to. I don't even think she needs to come in where they're indicating the broom to be, because there's nothing that can be raised, really.
I think her idea is to put something like here now, right?
Yeah. But in normal curling, that would probably be a good idea, but I don't think it's necessary at this point. I think
Because
that guard
she's already shot with the two here.
Mm-hmm.
This one and this one, right?
And I don't think any of those guards can be promoted in a dangerous way. So this is probably one of those circumstances where you'd rather be short than long. So you really don't need to be in the house with this one.
Well, they won't. I think it's a T-line now again.
Well, if they move it, it's fine, but
Well,
yeah.
this is nice. Now I don't see.
Wow.
Did you see it? What is the idea?
Well, that's the shot that Silvana was looking at earlier. But that's a really flat roll.
So in other words, she wants just to have a kind of.
weniger. Manche gingen schon vorbei, wenn wir noch weniger nehmen.
Ja, lieber zu viel, nein. Vielleicht. Was meinst du?
Ich hätte eher ein bisschen weniger gesagt, aber ich bin mir auch nicht sicher.
Drittel.
Ja.
Drittel.
Oh, sorry.
Probieren wir so halb bis ein Drittel.
The
Halber.
point is just he wants to put
Nehmen wir
this
einen halben,
one
ist gescheiter, ja.
strong takeout and then it goes here.
Mm-hmm.
And this one will
She just
go
wants, yeah, she wants to push the one that's in the forefoot sideways
Ja, das stimmt.
to, again, get at least second shot out of it.
Probieren wir dort noch reinwicken.
Gut.
8.
That's pretty well all she has right now.
Yeah.
And of course, that shot wasn't there before because the yellow was promoted about half a stone, which made the shot possible. That's why I'm thinking, you know, in Silvana's case, she was probably better off being outside the rings than in. It sounds like she's pretty close. And she accomplished it.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, das ist da hinten. Gut gesagt.
Very nice.
But again, it's the idea. I'm trying to understand why you would want to bring some of those stones into the house when you didn't really have
Ja, der
to.
erste natürlich sensationell.
She had her 2 points pretty well locked up. All she had to do was guard it.
Ja, ist der schlimm gewesen.
Now it's going to be extremely difficult to get that one out.
It's funny they didn't consider the other shot. It's just the reaction. Oh yes, you can do it like that, right?
Mm.
Ja, einfach nicht so, dass sie nachher einen klauen, oder?
Lieber nicht, aber der geht ja nie so fest drauf, ohne dass er den auch runterschiebt.
Das schon. Aber weißt du,
Not really sure what they're looking at here.
geht ja dann auch weg. Nicht so viel. Meinst du, der bleibt? Also ja, aber der
The thing is,
Aber dann haben wir da sicher einen. Ja, und der bleibt ja sicher auch.
they have many
Der bleibt da hängen.
ideas, but the point is just, let's say you would come from here, then this one would go here and would not have the force, let's say, to put this yellow here outside, you know.
So viel?
Mm.
This is the problem, because they are freezed and now they try this side here, something like
Aber
that.
gerade schauen, wenn du das so schräg triffst, dass er nicht auf den Zweier. Ah doch, dann geht es auf den Zweier und dann nimmt er ihn auch weg. Ist auch gut.
Well, I have no idea. It's just some nice designs, you know.
Well, it certainly looks like that's the side that they're going to play on, because at least at this point they have the carryover locked up. The last thing they want to do is push their stone out of scoring position and give the steal.
Well, Liz, I think
Gaat auf der 7. Ja, eben auf der 7.
then what are your ideas? You're the coach now. Let's say they make a timeout. What will you tell them?
I would tell them to throw it away.
They will cut your salary as a coach, you know, because it's the skin game.
That's a tough shot she's looking at.
But the problem is how she can get to this here, you know, because you have some guards here, right?
Well, it looks like the corner of that stone is actually open. So, but the idea is with probably a little bit of a drag effect as you're hitting it going by, you're probably not going to get to the spot that you want to. And she wants to sort of push it completely sideways. Now they're looking at the front again. Of course, there is no time limit,
Well,
as we can see.
they already, Team Feltscher is joking and say, okay, you can have my glasses for 400 Swiss francs, right? Okay, I think they have come to a decision.
Not sure, but I think they're trying to get just by and promote the yellow stone that's on the center line. If she can get at that without touching the red stone, she should be able to drive it on a bit of an angle. Obviously going to throw big weight at this. A little bit inside out here. So we're definitely going to see some rocks moving. And gave up the steal.
Steal.
That was the danger. See, if they had listened to the coach and thrown it away, I would have got my 10%.
Well, the steal means 400 for Binia Feltscher, so they are tied 500 to 500, right?
Yeah. Thing is, I don't really think the players were actually doing the financial math on that one. They were just trying to get the two. Again, it's, you know, if you don't have a lot of experience in this kind of game, it's kind of like poker, you know? You got to know when to hold them.
Well, maybe we can move to the scoreboard, to the other games, because now I think something happened here a little bit during that time. Here we have the Scottish team, 3-2, still we have about... still tied there, the two teams.
So an all Scotland game here on sheet 1.
So they have the two coaches, right? They sit next by now, Ronja and. Then we move to sheet number 2, where we have the Swiss team Hegner against Serikes is 3-2, still open as well. Wondering if they can understand each other, if they're all this kind of screaming from sheet 1 to number 5. And here, wow, still very tight 1-1. McManus,
well, not
the young Swiss team Grebe.
Not a high-scoring game there. It's like the games in the old days before the free guard zone.
Exactly. And Andrea Shep 3-2.
Looks like that would be 3-2 after 4 ends, with Andrea having last stone.
Mit der Ruhe lang. Ja, ist schön. Der Garle zwar fest. Sicher die
Okay,
Line, ha?
we look again. Maybe someone has a comment on the last rock we had on the previous end, where actually Dan was recommended to overthrow and they didn't follow you. So maybe another idea of someone, if I would have known.
So we appreciate any commentary. If you have any good ideas as to what they should have played in the last end. So now we're all tied up.
And the hammer is now on Team Feltscher.
So of course, this being 6 ends, we only have 2 ends left.
Yeah. So okay, now the 6 ends means 600 francs. So maybe Team Feltscher will say, okay, I take these 600 francs for sure, right?
So we got this end being worth 500.
500, sorry, yeah, I said 500.
And then 600 on the next one.
Exactly.
So basically, it's going to be who takes the last end will win this game.
Yeah, but I think now Feltscher with the longest rock on the skin number 5, on the 5th end, she could take the 500, you know. At least then she's quite relaxed going into the 6th.
It'll probably end up being one of the closer skins games that we'd had the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think so too.
So a little bit of excitement here.
Here, our website, Curling Champions Tour, where you can follow the score and the game live as well. So she was not so happy with this rock, saying right away it's too tight, the rock itself. So I think they just let it now.
Another long guard. Actually, in this type of game, those are the guards that you really have to worry about because it kind of closes down the house a little bit. Looks like Binia is going to be a little bit content at keeping this clean. She has a stone in the house.
Yeah, and I think she's looking now for 2 the same then.
2 stones in the house. Yeah. Sorry. So now she's just going to try and keep it clean and make sure that she retains the 2 points that'll give her the money for the skin for this end, or force a carryover.
Yeah, but then she has not the last rock.
She doesn't have the last rock, but you know, if you play it well.
Well, like she did before.
And now they're playing the takeout, so probably going to start looking at a lot of hits here, which would create a lot of excitement if there was a carryover.
So, aber ein bisschen kommen.
Take out with.
Sunny.
Another takeout being played. We're going to see a jam here. Yeah. So there goes the back stone.
gespielt. Ist gut gewesen. Und überhaupt nicht. Muss noch weniger.
Bit of a smile there.
Gut gespielt.
Oh, still biting, she said.
Still biting. Wow. She must have just pushed it sideways.
Yeah. But now the direction is, let's say, quite nice for a double, huh?
Hmm. Now we know why she was.
Let's add an E because
Nah.
it's a small mistake.
Fast. Gut gewesen. Gut gespielt.
So they're all trying to. Binia here trying to get the hit and roll, and Silvana trying to get the double. So
Scheiße.
I don't want to translate what that was.
Well, this is, let's say, slang Swiss German.
Mm.
They are not happy about the double, you know. But we don't translate this kind of.
They
Well,
played
they
so
could
hard for the.
They could say now the same before, you know.
They played so hard for the hit and roll that they actually rolled out.
Well, now I think it's an over, huh? There's not much.
Oh, we never know. You know, you get a bit of a nose hit here and then a freeze. And you also have that long guard out in front. So we'll probably see a freeze or a come around called here. Yeah. So come around top 12 foot. So we've switched over now to the intern come around. Oh, and there's Rona Martin with multiple cameras. Of course, we've got
they are the two teams,
Scottish teams, so you can see where they went shopping for cameras. So the intern come around was made, but of course that guard being so long,
so you can see,
could probably be taken out with a hack weight shot. Looks like they might be going around it with that ice. So well thrown stone. The intern draw coming, stopping in a really nice spot.
Yep.
Silvana here demonstrating. Sometimes it's a little important to use your bare hand to clean your stone, just so you can get a feel of what's under there. And she put her glove back on.
Richtig ist gut. 6. Achtung. Vorne Länge. 7. Hinter 4.
So Silvana here trying to steal.
Esther, ja. Ja.
Good looking shot here. They can drag it back a little bit. Well done.
Probieren wir den wieder zu tappen. Wie lang? Backline.
So as I said earlier, probably a hack weight takeout.
Nein, wir tun lieber
Just
da
enough
über
to
die.
push it
Können wir sogar
away
hacken,
from the
hä?
forefoot and roll.
Ist das 5? Ja. Findest du gut? Ja.
And we'll see Binia back in a situation where she has her 2 points. So of course she's hoping to roll her shooter in front of the
Den wieder zu tappen
the
probieren.
red stone that's in the back 12. And then I would venture to guess that Silvana will
Es hat 14 gehabt.
go all
14.
out and try to
Ja.
steal anyway.
Vor allem auf die Richtung schauen. He? Ja. Ein bisschen weniger. Vier. Backline. Zieh. Ja. Backline.
You're going to have to go hard on this one. It's really curling. Good sweeping. Great sweeping there just to get that rock by the rock in the top of the 4 foot. Top of the 8 foot, I should say.
Du hast von hinten denkst du, das ist ein
So now Silvana's in a little bit of a pickle here. She can't hit and roll because it's probably going to jam. She can't draw. She's going to have to move that stone. So she's probably going to have to use a little bit less weight than she would want to.
Well, she wants that her stone moves a bit on the left side.
Jetzt weniger.
Well, she just doesn't want to jam on the back one. She just shortened up the ice a little bit here. We'll see if that proves costly or not.
500 francs.
Not even see a case here where Binia might not even have to throw her last one.
Warten. Na, ist gut. Oh. Achtung, zieh. Nein. Oh, ja, fest. Ja. Fest. Ja. Fest.
And it's over curling, and as I said, she may not even have to throw her last one.
No.
There you go.
There we go.
So the 2 points required for the skin. That was the danger there.
Definitely, yeah.
So 500 points going to Feltscher. Now Silvana will have last stone in the last end. Last end being 600.
Quite interesting because it was 500 through 100, right? And now it's 1,000 against 500.
What they would normally do in some of the Skinsgame that I've witnessed is you do get the money for each skin, but if you win the game outright, you get a bonus. So in this case, the bonus is 100 Swiss francs. Just enough to win the game and to go home with bragging rights.
Nein, gar nicht.
Well, we can say since you saw the video, they just turned the game and now it looks nice.
And I think for sure now Binia has got enough to get a new pair of jeans.
Nein, gar nicht. 82. Bitte! Bis 2.
Carla, nicht so fest. Carla, noch nicht so richtig. Jetzt,
So Martin has some problems to put the score of 1,000 for.
Okay, Löhnen,
Yeah,
ist
it's
gut.
one too many zeros.
Not
It
10,000.
it doesn't fit.
Ja, ist gut.
I'm gonna have to take a letter away from Feltscher. Looking at the scores from the other games, and looks to me like they're all quite close.
Yeah, we will take a look just after this finishing of the skin games, because they will finish after 6 ends, while the others are still having 2, 3 more.
So some of these other teams having played since this morning, some of them will probably end up with 4 games today. And of course, the reason that they play the skins game is the 3 qualifiers. There we go. Finally got the 1,000 to fit. But due to the scheduling of the triple knockout, you get the 3 A qualifiers not playing on Saturday, having to wait till the Sunday playoff round. So basically, not quite sure. Did they go to DSC or obviously not, because the LSDs were not measured. So I don't know. Maybe they just drew them out of a hat.
Because there were 3 definitely and just 2 playing. So I don't know if they added maybe the ants or the rocks. It must be something like that, I suppose.
Yeah. So we'll try and find that out for you.
Because it was Team Hasselborg who was qualified directly as Friday evening.
Mm-hmm. So we had 3 qualifiers out of the A, and these are 2 of them playing for a little bit of extra money and getting them out on the ice so they don't have to wait till Sunday.
Well, what we can say is, besides the 3 teams of Hasselborg, Tirinzoni and Feltscher, there was a qualifying today at midday. There was the final B, and there were Team Ott and Team Siegfriedsen who qualified for tomorrow's quarterfinal. Actually, they will play against each other tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So tonight, the last games will be at 8 p.m. So the last 3 qualifiers selected for the quarterfinal games tomorrow morning.
That's right. So basically we had 3 qualifiers out of the A, 2 out of the B, and now the final 3 playing tonight.
And as you said, it's very tight.
So we just saw previously a free guard zone infraction. The guard was removed.
It's not here. Here.
So now we're starting to get a little pile of stones there. 3 yellow stones in the control zone.
Interesting, huh?
Not sure what the ultimate rule is, but normally in skins format, if there is a carryover in the last end, we have a draw to the button. Now, I don't know what the Swiss rules are, but hopefully for Silvana, she'll pick up the 600 and the game will be over. Silvana's going to try and clean this up a little bit. Try to open up the forefoot. So Bini is going to continue to try to use that long red guard. Of course, if she steals here, she'll take the money. But I think her concern now is maybe just to force Silvana to take the 1 and to have the carryover. Because the house is pretty well open. Just have to make sure that Silvana doesn't get her 2.
Fest, jetzt auch richtig. Fest. Oh. Es langt nicht.
This one's a little shorter.
Okay, so.
Well, that last stone buried a little more than Silvana wanted to. But at least she can see more of the forefoot now than she could before, so she's going to try and sneak one in around these two guards.
Well, what would be nice is actually Esther now, she put one red one and then Binia could just simply close.
Yeah.
I think this is still quite a good situation now for yellow. The 1,000 team, 1,000 Swiss franc team.
Well, they were sweeping this one hard early, but I think they could have waited a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too.
They actually increased the breaking point. Now it's
yeah, and there was
probably
enough
half open, yeah.
Aber Fries ist auch gut. Ja.
So I think they could have afforded to have waited a little bit. So now Feltscher attempting to freeze to this one, maybe even tap it back a little bit. Looks like they're going to really have to sweep this one. Not a bad stone.
Yeah, the curl was very nice now.
Yeah, that's really, really going to make it difficult for Silvana to get her two.
Because you see now how the curl of the yellow rock was even a bit more than the red one on the same weight.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So Silvana's going to try and put a stone in front of it. These are all going to be set up shots now, just to get something lined up. The last thing you want to do is be long. So of course you can't make a little bit longer than they want it to be. Wow,
She needs to clear,
big miss
clear.
there. That was a pretty important shot.
Well, then we look a little bit ourselves too what they propose.
Well, I think what she's looking at here is actually trying to remove the two red stones and playing the takeout.
Well, if you play the takeout, very important is that your yellow goes off.
Out.
There, right?
That's right. You can't afford to leave it there. But I think they're going to be hitting this so thin that it's going to roll out anyway. The important thing is going to be to push the second red stone far enough.
The question is why not putting one here?
Well, you could do that,
or
but
even less, because you know they have one, they have the second, right? So. Wenn sie es langsam mal dead.
Nein, wenn man natürlich so, dann liegt der Doppel. Dann ist
Ja, das ist sowieso.
I think maybe you can do a little bit of translating there. Tell us what they're saying.
This is when a team talks, everybody has another opinion, right? So I gave you now 3 position of the rock, so I think they come up to this one here.
So they're going to play the freeze on their own.
Well, she said it would be happy if she could tap this one to here, right? Yeah, that is what she says now. Why not pushing a bit, you know? But you see now again, they come back to here. Well then, you know, sometimes it's difficult to follow the mind of the players.
Which is almost getting back to the situation we had earlier where Silvana gave up the steal she should have been playing higher up in the house, and all the stones kept coming into the 4-foot. Now at least they're getting a little wiser and saying, well, let's leave it up a little higher and let them do the work.
I think so, because they have the second, and the second is in such a nice position.
And not only that, the 3 stones that would be out in front of the house would all be yellow anyway. So.
Bis 12.
12. Nicht mehr. Nicht mehr. Tia, Carla, zu fest. Tia.
12.
Ja, ja.
So she said, just hurry up because the curl is so strong. Yeah, but now it's
Gut
exactly.
so.
Yeah.
Bitte nicht verstecken. Sehr schön.
Good shot.
Yeah.
Right where she wanted it.
Yeah. Well, this is a kind of thoughtful.
Little bit of concern on that face.
Well, the question is, do you see a possibility to enter here?
Well,
On
you
the
know,
right from that side here.
again, it's a case of, do you want to do that and risk moving your own?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like she did last time?
But now they definitely need 2, right? So they
Yeah.
have to find a.
Well, the other problem too is now Binia's got the 2 sides covered with the 2 yellow guards, the one she just threw up and the one on the other side,
This one and this one.
and they can both be promoted.
So
So
what they try is to certainly open up here.
really not a bad idea to open up now,
Also,
Something like that.
because
And this one would go here.
yeah,
der Grad habe ich mir auch
This
noch
one would
überlegt.
go here.
she's gonna need some kind of a bailout shot at the end.
So viel wie
She
möglich.
doesn't want to be facing those shots
Nein, ist ja gleich, wenn du hinter den Vierer gehst.
with 3 Yellowstones out front. And plus there's still the
Eigentlich so,
long
dass
red
der
guard
Sechser
also.
oben drüber würde.
Ja, so.
Ja, aber das ist nur ein... Wäre
Man
nur
muss ja einfach ein bisschen schneller spielen.
Well, for
oder?
600 franc is a good.
Ja, den musst du auch schneller
Let them a
spielen,
bit time
oder?
to talk about, right?
Ja, ich kann es schon.
Was
Ja,
findest du besser?
Also weißt du, musst nicht einmal so schnell.
Ich finde einfach, es muss irgendetwas bewegen.
Der muss ja
da
nicht
hinten,
ganz
oder?
raus, der muss nur da theoretisch.
Genau. Es muss einfach etwas bewegt werden.
Weil also der ist wahrscheinlich nicht viel schwieriger wieder da. Der
Well,
so.
I wouldn't want to be redstones at this point,
Der Beste fände ich, glaube wirklich den
because
da.
as much as you're lying
Der
shot,
Sechs auf den Fünfer und selber da
not in a very good spot.
Licht draussen.
Ja, dann machen wir das, oder?
Zwar nicht mal allzu schnell, irgendwie
8,5.
8,9 so.
Licht draussen, aber nicht viel. Fast Nase,
That's-
lieber Nase.
Yeah, and you can look at that on the other side too.
Okay, it will be definitely a takeout, huh?
So it looks like she's trying to nose it and just spill both yellows out and maybe leave the red one out front.
Oh, this is wrong.
Ach, ja! Fest! 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 Zieh!
Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Manuela Sigres just not having any luck tonight. It's really going to have to look at
Welcher findest du besser?
the outturn come around promotion there. I don't think I would touch that stone.
Müssen da wild rausholen.
Die Frage ist, ob man überhaupt etwas noch riskiert für Schutz zu werden.
so what is your suggestion?
Du hast wieder gegen
Put
noch
something
auf
here
dieser
in the
Seite.
front,
Aber wir
or?
sollten diese hier zutun, weil wenn sie
Well,
dort
they're
liegen-
looking at hitting that one and just making the shot outright.
Das ist fast auch schwer. He?
Well, I
Make it
think
right
it's
away.
more- There was the question, why not closing here, something like that, you know?
Yeah. Well, depends what your plan is. Do you want to force the carryover, or because at this point it's start really looking real. I like this one.
Du weißt, wenn er dann je nachdem so kommt.
You would really have to be unlucky to hurt yourself on this one.
Backline, ja.
And looks like that's what they're doing.
Yep.
Nein, ich glaube nicht.
Kürzer, jetzt hat er noch mehr Eis gegeben.
Ich habe das Gefühl, dass sie ihn nur stößt.
She said there's a kind of backline. It's not that. I mean, it was,
Backline. Ja. Es kommt eigentlich nur auf die Richtung
They're probably going to
drauf
play
an.
this with backboard, hack weight. A little more than hack weight, I guess.
Von dem da links gesehen,
Having to
ja,
move the
gar
two
nicht.
stones.
Backline! 5! Achtung, Spitz Hack!
Oh!
Spitz Hack!
Achtung! Achtung, Putze!
Oh, they're telling the sweepers to stay close. So it must be. Now they're going to have to go.
beautiful.
Great shot.
Beautiful.
And now that only leaves one shot, which is the intern raise.
Also nein, es sollte der Beste werden, wenn der links
Also eigentlich zuerst ein bisschen und dann...
Ja, genau.
Ja.
8,5. Nassen ist das genau nassen, oder?
Ja, leicht draussen, geht fast noch.
And if she doesn't make this, Bina will be buying the jeans and a drink.
The thing is, let's say if they do a blank, then there will be a kind of draw.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe interesting to see that they up there there would be a game of draw, right?
Mm-hmm. So she's gonna. This is probably as accurate a raise as you're ever gonna have to throw, because I don't think she can afford to hit either those yellows. She's almost got to put it between them,
Exactly, I see that too. Certainly interesting.
but it's the only shot she has. So
Tiam! Fest! Tiam! Wow! Wow! Gang weg. Wow! Tiam! Wow!
oh, what a
Wow.
shot!
Sehr schön.
Okay.
Great shot.
Well, now things have changed. I think
Yeah.
Bina could try to do the same again here.
Gleiche Tempo.
She said exactly the same again.
Ist ein bisschen schneller.
Jetzt ist sie schon.
Well, she just threw it, so she knows the line.
Exactly. It's exactly the same line again.
Uh-huh.
Wie du willst.
I think what's important at this point is always to make sure that the other team can't get their two.
Nein, kommen wir nochmal gleich.
Donald, die
She would
Backline.
like doing the same again, she says. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, she feels comfortable doing the same again. I would say the weight was correct.
Nochmal gleich.
Just bend it back a little bit.
And
Hast du
even
noch
if she leaves
Wieder
a shot
gleich,
for
ich glaube,
one,
überlegen.
you know,
Wieder
like we
die
said
richtige.
earlier, that's just gonna force the carry over.
Ist mir ein bisschen
She
weniger.
just has to make sure she doesn't leave a shot for two here.
So, we got the last rock of Bina.
Kürzer! Ja! Tiam! Fest! Backline! Fest!
Ho, nicht ho. Ho.
Looks like they might have overswept this one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think the call of the vice skip was a little bit panic-stricken there. So now there's going to be a draw for two and
Marlene ist auch mal hier Eisgang
Incredible.
last skin. What a
Game changes.
turn of events, back and forth.
Aushändig.
Some pretty good shot making
Andere
here.
Seite wäre die andere Seite nicht fast einfacher. Hä?
So she will do a kind of takeout on the.
Yeah, she's just gonna make sure she's T-line weight, and they can just come off the yellow one and into the 4-foot.
Bleibt einfach dran, wenn er lang ist.
I don't think there's really any chance here of
Knapp, oder?
making a mistake, and taking her own out, so she's just going with draw weight here.
Sie ist schon gut so, oder? Da kommt's
Mir
schon.
tut es gut, ja. Ja.
So we got the last rock of
8.
Dranbleiben dann. Zieh dann.
Zieh.
Well, they're calling off the sweepers. Doesn't seem to be coming up at all.
Nein.
Looks okay now.
Nein.
So just a rub off, roll into the forefoot, and there's the skin.
so 600.
So we have a winner. So Tirinzoni will take home 1100. So pretty well, half and
distributed,
half,
right?
and
Yeah. And 100 franc for you then for the nice commentary.
but they should have taken my advice and thrown it away. They would have been a little bit richer.
Well, let's move to the other games because now this interesting skins game is over. But I think in the other ends there is still a hard fighting. Well, you see here the Scottish teams having 4-3. So still 2 more ends to go. They are now in the 7th. So I think nothing is decided so far. Very interesting, right? Then we move to sheet number 2. It's the Swiss team Hegner against Gekeres. Here, oh, the team Hegner has stolen one on the 6th end. So we are here now in the 7th here. Nice performance now, 5-3.
Ja, ich glaube auch.
Then
Trainieren.
there were our games, kind of tight games, right? 3-3, you see, sharing their spot. Here too, my God, as you said, this is a typical football game here, right? 2-1. Probably a bit defensive games, what do you think? So still not decided, 2 more ends to go. They are in the 7th as well. Probably just now analyzing a very interesting situation. And the last, where is Andrea Schöpp against Team Maillard, 4-3. They are gaining in the last end. With the last, the hammer, actually, hammer, it goes to Team Maillard. So there's a possibility to tie the game, right?
Of course, we can't see what's happening in the house.
Well then, very nice having you here.
Thank you.
And nice game. Certainly tomorrow we have the pleasure to hear you again. So tonight we're going to have at 8 p.m. the next game, which we, for the moment, we just know is one team, Team Leben, against one of those. Actually, it's one of the winner of Schöpp against Maya, which we will show live at 8 p.m. Tomorrow morning, the quarterfinals, then the semifinals and final. We will keep you updated through our homepage, www.curlingchampionstour.org. Thank you very much being with us. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
And see you again at 8 p.m.
And job well done to the technical crew.
Yep. Thank you, Martin. Goodbye so far.